You're listening to Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. Our show provides listeners with an insider perspective of Texas A&M athletics and its greatest supporters. This podcast will bring you exclusive interviews with coaches, athletes, donors, and the dedicated staff of Aggie Athletics and the 12th Man Foundation. You ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Answering the Call. I am your host, Ivy Robinson, and today I am joined by Texas A&M Football wide receiver Jahdae Walker. We're so excited to have you here. And you know, I personally have just been dying to ask you. This is a personal question of mine. So, your 11-yard receiving touchdown against Mississippi State last year when you and Anaya Smith broke out into the Juvie slide.
Yeah.
Was that celebration dance something that y'all planned, or did y'all just, was it completely candid? Did y'all just?
We used to do it a lot during the summer. I did it at my old school, and when I transferred here, he saw the video. He was like, "Bro, you have to teach me that dance." And he picked up like the first day, and he just started doing it in practice, and we just both started doing it. And we said, "Bro, when we score, we gotta hit that dance because it's
Gotta
definitely
hit
gonna
it,
go
yeah.
viral."
It did. It was
Yeah.
it was such a fun moment for sure. And also, you know, word on the street, Jahdae, is that you are the best dressed on the football team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that true?
Me, T, Jazz. It's a couple of us, but yeah, for sure that.
Well, Jahdae, to kick off the episode, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about your roots and where you're from, your family, and how you spent your childhood? Let's just start there.
Okay, a little bit about my history. I have 4 siblings, 2 older, 1 younger. So I was the lower middle. Me and my older sister always talk about how we're the middle childs and stuff. And yeah, I grew up playing football at about 4 years old. I had a bad birthday for Pop Warner, so I would always play up. And I was 4 playing with like 5, 6, and 7. Then when I got 5, that's when I got to like playing with them more and just doing stuff like that. And my mom actually told me a funny story. She said when I was 8 months old, I had threw a football and hit her on the nose. So she
What?
kind of knew. She kind of knew that I was gonna be like a football star.
That was the moment she
Yeah,
knew, like,
she
hey,
thought I was
this
gonna be a
kid's
quarterback
got
now.
an arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I played quarterback up until like 8th grade. Then that's when I transferred to DB and wide receiver. So yeah, that was a pretty good transition. And I played basketball and ran track too. Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
my
Yeah.
childhood was pretty good. I had both parents in my life. My dad was my coach actually growing up, so he was pretty hard on me in track, football, basketball. I tried lacrosse for a little bit and baseball always, but I fell in love with football at a really young age,
Mhm.
and it just carried on.
That's so neat. You said your dad was a coach. Did he teach you any like life lessons or mottos that you still uphold to this day?
Yeah, he just always preached hard work, and just seeing my brother grow up. My older brother, he used to play football a lot. He actually wore number 9 in high school. That's why we're here. So I kind of want to model my game after him because I always watched him growing up. He had little highlights that I would see and just watch before all my games and just, just try to be him. And he was a really good role model growing up too because he played football and he was really good. He was a DB, so I wanted to be a DB for a little bit.
Did he go and play like
He played a little bit in
collegiate
college.
level or?
Yeah, he played a little bit in college. It's called Snow. It's like a JUCO in Utah.
Very cool. Out of your siblings, did any of them go and play college sports?
My brother played football, and my little sister running track right now. She just got accepted into Kent State.
Good for her. So what does she run?
The 400 long jump. She really good at long jump too.
I attempted long jump at one point in track when I was in high school. It did not go very well. I also did high jump, which
Oh yeah.
is tough. It's a tough event. It is.
I tried javelin once, and I tried to throw it, and I hit the back of my head with the pole, and it hurt real bad. So I never did javelin again. And
Oh no.
yeah, so.
So you
good on that.
decided no more javelin for me.
Oh no.
So Jahdae, how would you describe yourself?
I feel like I'm funny. But like all my teammates tell me like I have unlimited energy and just I really see it. Like my dad always had energy, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just normal for me to pick it up. And I feel like when he was on the field, because he played flag football too, and he used to come home sore, like could barely walk, because they used to play flag football, but they were tackling low key, and it was looked like a little rugby going on, but they would do that, and I would just say overall, just a very upbeat, high tempo guy, just always trying to bring a smile to everybody's face and just never down. So whenever I'm not smiling, coach would be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm I'm chilling." And be like, "Nah, you're not your upbeat self." And I always just have to carry that on me and just keep being upbeat. So yeah, that's pretty much about myself.
I like that. The power of positivity
Mhm.
is it just radiates, on it has an effect on obviously your personal life, but then those who are around your community, your teammates. And so
Mhm.
if you're approaching everything from a positive mindset
Yeah.
and and trying to be a positive light to other
No,
people,
yeah,
it's
for
just gonna
sure.
make everything better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like to do in your free time when you're not playing football, not at practice?
On my free time, I probably play the game. Me, Ruben, Israel, Majay. Like I play the game with a lot of people. We play Warzone.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we're like all like Micah T's, like all of us, like
I
we
know
all
nothing
play.
about Warzone. Like I'm not a gamer, so explain what that is.
It's like Call of Duty. It's like a shooting game.
Got it.
It's very intense. Like you get to the final circle of Warzone, it's almost equivalent to like the last seconds in a football game. Your palms sweat, and if your friends are like all dead, like they all are spectating you, so they see every movement you do, and if you miss one shot and the dude kill you, it's like they all see it. So if you ever clutch it up in Warzone, you will know that feeling of just the high intensity and how intense that game gets.
Super fun. So like if you're the last man standing, it's like all on
Yeah,
you. I guess they're all waiting for you to
yeah,
like,
for sure.
man, it's
Yeah,
making my palms sweat just hearing him
oh yeah,
hearing
for
about
sure.
that. Yeah, I did not grow up playing like Xbox or PlayStation. I think that one game that I like faithfully played was Mario Kart on the Wii.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I will challenge anybody
I
to a
was
game of
really
Mario
good
Kart.
at tennis on there on the
Oh,
Wii.
Wii
Yeah,
tennis.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. Jade, so shifting gears a little bit and going back to your story of playing college football and you said sports, you got involved in sports at a very young age, played a lot of different sports. So at what point in your life did you set your sights on playing football in college, and was that always a part of your plan?
Actually, my mom just sent me a picture the other day. It was when I was in second grade. It said I want to be a football star and score a lot of touchdowns and get a lot of interceptions. So I've been always had like that mindset, and just that was like a way out for me. Whenever like stuff was going on at home, I feel like football was like a safe place for me to just go away and have my
Mhm.
free time and just have fun. So that was kind of like an outlet for me when I was younger, and also just seeing like how many people can change their family lives off of just going to the league, and just that was a big moment for me, and I was just like, yeah, I have to do that. Like it's no other way. And whenever I'm tired or just don't feel like doing it, I always think about my why, and that pushes me like no other. And like
Mhm.
I will never give up on this.
Your why. What is that why? To go
Well,
out there and give your best every single day.
I have a lot of them, but I would say just to help my family. Just my granddad passed away like last year, so that was pretty tough on me, and I just seen like how close it made the family even more. That was very tough, and my why is just like just to make my mom never have to work again, my father never have to work again. Like I don't like seeing them work. I don't like seeing my family struggle at all. That'll be like my biggest why, and I just wanted more. I just don't know. I just wanted more than everybody.
I love that. So Jade, you transferred from Grand Valley State to Texas A&M. What was it like when you first figured out you got that opportunity to go play at Grand Valley State first? Like what walk us through the emotions you felt.
Well, that was around COVID, so a lot of seniors came back for their last year or their COVID year. So all the roster spots were filled. So everybody asked me, "Why didn't you go D1? Why didn't you go D1?" And I was like, "Bro, like all the roster spots are filled.
Mhm.
Everybody's filled. So like, I don't want to wait, go JUCO, and then have to wait for everybody to leave to. So I just went to D2 in Grand Valley, and it was a great experience. We had really good coaches. Our head coach, Coach Mitch, he actually left my sophomore year to Wisconsin. My wide receiver coach left too. Coach Tree, he left, he went to McNeese, and now he's at Miami. So like everybody left because we were doing so good. Like we went 12. I think we went 10-2 up my freshman year, and then 12-1 my sophomore year. So we were like really good, and all of our coaches were getting better jobs and stuff like that. So I'm like, shoot, I'm leaving too. Like y'all ain't finna leave me here alone, because those are my two favorite coaches. I love Coach Tree. Like he built me from a freshman to sophomore. Like that transition and that summer, he pushed me to be the best I could ever be, and he just always was on me. He never was satisfied, and that just always pushed me to never take anything for granted and keep going and going. Because he will always talk about like perspectives and something could always be worse. So I always carried that on my shoulders and just telling myself like it could always be worse. Like this is nothing you're going through. Somebody always got it worse than you.
That's a really good perspective
Yeah,
and mindset to have in life. And that's something that my parents actually have instilled in me is, you think you're having a bad day, like there's always worse things. And
for
it's
sure.
it's important to just push through and remember that, hey, I'm going to be grateful for the things that are going right and for the things that I do have or for the opportunities that I do have and not focus on the what may be going wrong or
Oh yeah,
what
for
maybe I
sure.
don't have.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, that's a good mindset to have when approaching anything in life. So you were at Grand Valley State, switching from a Division II program
Hmm.
to a major SEC program in Texas. You went all the way from Michigan to Texas. That's a significant change. So can you describe what that transition was
It's funny
like?
because when I committed here, it's this conference called the MAC. It's like in Ohio. A lot of people were like hating, saying I shouldn't leave, and just a lot of I feel like they were fans because they like loved me being there. So they were just like, no, he shouldn't leave. He's not gonna go anywhere. So when I had committed, I had posted a picture on Instagram, and I said they told me I could only get the MAC. I replied, wait a sec, SEC with like dot dot dot, and like everybody was like, wow, that caption hard, that caption hard. So like when I first came here, I'm like, yeah, like I just knew it was a perfect fit. Like I just loved the vibe here, the coaches, the traditions. I loved everything, especially the 12th man story. Just like figuring out like what that was and all of these traditions and midnight yell, like just all of the stuff that we do here is like very nice. And just whenever I think about A&M, I just think about this is, and Coach E Rob actually said it. He said this is not a 4 year deal. This is a 40 year deal. So I always will feel like this is home for me for sure. And it just all the coaches just make me feel like this is home. So that's why I really love Texas A&M for sure.
Now that you're here, do you
Mhm.
have a favorite Aggie tradition if you had to pick one?
Oh, the 12th man for sure.
Just,
Yeah,
yeah.
12th man tradition for sure. I just love how they pick. And don't get me wrong, they're all like the 12th man. It's a really, really like tough. Like you have to be tough to get that honor because last year Sam, he was like on everything. He was tough. Like we used to run in the summers, and he would hit like 22 miles per hour. I was like, this dude is who is this guy? And I was like, this dude is crazy. And then when he won 12th man, I just like I knew it. Like I'm like, yeah, he has to win it. And then this year, Nana, we all wanted him to get it. It was just like he was telling us like his little story and stuff, and just telling us about how he always wanted to be the 12th man, and just to tell his mom back home in Ghana, like all of this stuff. And once he told her, he was gonna cry in front of us, but he was trying to.
Oh.
You could tell he was holding it back.
Mm-hmm.
So we was just clapping it up for him and just telling him how proud we were of him and just congratulating him.
And what an honor. Congrats to him. So what were your first impressions of Texas A&M when you got here for the very first time? What was it like when you arrived in Aggieland?
It was like a lot of construction, and I'm like, wow, they're building something
There's
great.
always something being
Like
built
they're
in
building
College
something
Station.
great here. So I'm looking at the indoor being built. I'm like, sheesh. They're like, yeah, this is gonna be done August 1st. y'all guys gonna be able to practice in it. And it was just huge. Like when I first saw the campus, I'm like, wow. From going to 17,000 fans to 100,000, that's a big jump. So when I first game, I was shaking in my stands, like low key, like not scared, but just like a little nervous. And it was just like the crowd, just everything about A&M. I just loved. As soon as I got on campus, I knew this was the place to be.
You mentioned the indoor practice facility, which is the beautiful Coolidge Football Performance Center at the Graham Athletic Complex. Tell us, what's your favorite part about that facility?
It got double end zones. So, funny story, I caught a pass in like summer workouts. In the end zone, I had stepped out, but it was another end zone behind it, 10 yards behind it. So, like, whenever I catch a pass technically out of bounds in that end zone, I'd be like, no, I was going to the far end zone. Like, I
That's
would always tell them,
that's
like,
pretty
nah,
good.
I'm not out the far end zone back there. Like, I just
Technically,
caught it. I'm catching it to run to that end zone. So, every time I catch a ball out of bounds, they be like, no, you out. I'm like, nah, I'm going to the back end zone. You ain't getting me.
Jahdae, what is your major at Texas A&M?
A-Led, Agricultural Leadership and Development.
Is there a favorite class or professor you've had through A-Led?
Mm, it is a favorite class. It's like the leadership. It's like a leadership class, and she was a really good teacher. I forget her name, but she was like a wonderful teacher. And when I had that one game versus ULM, I had scored like I had 5 receptions for 110 yards in the first half, and it was like a whole article, and the teacher had put the article on each person's seat, like the whole class, and it was just crazy. I was like, wow. And then she had everybody clap for me and stuff, and it was like it was so good. Like I love that class. I actually ended up with an A in that class too,
Look at you.
3.7.
Snaps. That's awesome. Yeah, and just I'm sure that's a cool feeling too. Like obviously y'all feel the support on game day, but then to walk in the classroom and feel
Oh
that
yeah,
support from
for
your
sure.
classmates and from your professors,
Yeah,
that's
for
tremendous.
sure.
How would you describe the level of support and resources and facilities that you have access to here at Texas
Oh
A&M?
yeah.
Because you've been at Grand Valley
hmm
State. So how would you describe that level of support?
Oh, the support is amazing. Like Molly, Mike, like Mark, Jessica. Like Jessica is my learning specialist, so she is really good. She knows, like, she reads the schedule. Like she reads my syllabus before I even get there. And she be like, don't forget you got this, this, and this. I'm like, how do you know all of this? I'm looking at the syllabus. I don't see. And she like prints out. She's really big on printing. So she prints out my whole syllabus and just lets me know, you need to email your teacher and let her know. Or you need to, like, she's always on top of everything. She never lets me slack. So I love Jessica for that. Like, she's my biggest supporter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Jade, many listeners on this podcast are 12 Man Foundation donors and season ticket holders, and their donations and contributions help provide resources like nutrition,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
sports medicine, mental health.
Mhm.
So, what would you like to say to those individuals who philanthropically give to support y'all and to make sure y'all have elite resources here?
I just want to send a huge thank you to all of you guys. Just thank you for all your support, and it never goes unnoticed with us. And our coaches make sure we always remember that, and just remember how grateful and blessed we are to be here.
What would you say are your personal goals for this season?
It's gonna sound cliche, but I don't like to say my goals out loud. Well, like to myself, I do, but like I'm gonna say our team goal. I hope my
Mm-hmm.
team win. I just hope we all just get the accolades that we want. We've been working hard. Like we have a good offense in Coach Klein and Coach Wiggins and Troop, and we just got really good players, bro. So I feel like if we put the pieces together, like we're good. And Coach Elko is amazing too. And I always be joking around with Coach Bateman, the defensive coordinator. Every time I
What do
see him,
y'all joke about?
I dap him up. I'm like, hey man, just trying to cause chaos in your room. And he like, man, get out of here or whatever. And he like hate he hates when I say that because I always like I be trying to make every play like just so I could like make him mad because I love when I see him throw his hands up. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I just love making him mad. But Coach Bateman, that's my guy though. Yeah, that's my guy. We definitely clicked as soon as he got on campus. Bateman's funny too. Like a lot of people like Bateman is hilarious. Like I was walk past him one day and he hit me with like a little fake elbow and it was like it was the way he did it, bro. He just cracked me up.
That's hilarious.
Bateman funny.
Can you describe any meaningful ways that you have been able to utilize NIL earnings to support yourself or your loved ones? I know I'm changing the topic here, but wanted to touch on NIL and how it's impacted your life.
Oh yeah, NIL impacted for sure. Just giving me an opportunity to invest my money and just help my mom out, just little stuff like that. Just opens the door for a lot of us. And I feel like a lot of us come from nothing. So like when we get it, some of us don't know what to do with it, but we're being smart with getting help from our family or like an account or anything of that nature. And I feel like we're all just being smart with it. Well, I'm being smart for sure. I don't spend my money on anything if I don't have to. I buy football stuff, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I give me some gloves, some cleats, some arm sleeves. I'm good.
So you're
Some
spending it on
food for
football
sure.
things,
I spend it on food for
kind
sure.
of the essentials, and then everything else you're.
Yeah, I'm a food guy for sure. I love eating food. So yeah, that's pretty much what I spend my money most on.
How
And
do you
recovery for sure too.
How do you think your college experience would be different if NIL wasn't a option?
Well, I came from no NIL, so I would just make the best of it. Cause the D2 we didn't really have anything, so I always just make the best of it, and it kind of brings your teammates closer to just grinding it out and just being mud brothers, like going to war for each other. Like if you know someone's story and background, you would go 10 times harder for them and just play for one another. And that's really the biggest thing that we're doing this year is playing for one another.
How would you describe that team culture this year? If you could pick one word.
Just determined, for sure.
Jahdae, to wrap up today, why would you say you're proud to be an Aggie?
Many things. I'll be proud to be an Aggie, but the main thing, just proud of just where I came from and how far I've come, and just keep upholding my name on the front of my jersey and the back of my jersey. So that's pretty much why I'm proud. I just love being here.
Beyond football, beyond your time at Texas A&M, what are your future goals?
I want to be a business owner. I want to own a lot of businesses, just invest my money the right way, because a lot of NFL players go broke, and I do not want that to happen to me. So I'm gonna definitely take care of the little things and always just be conscious and cautious of just how I spend my money and how I use it. So that's really the main thing, just being a businessman.
It'll be exciting to see where this life takes you, Jahdae.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Jahdae Walker on Answering the Call podcast. Jahdae, thank you again for your time today and for coming on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. A special shout out to our incredible podcast producer, Megan Hoffman, and to the
Clap it up.
clap it up for Megan. And to 12 Man Productions for their generous use of the studio. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to every donor and season ticket holder for always answering the call through loyal support of Texas A&M Athletics. We will be back soon with more content. Thanks, and gig 'em.
Gig 'em.